Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your news edition. These are the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, reaffirmed Algeria and India's will to reinforce partnership and trade exchange between the two countries, a statement he made during a joint press point. The President of the Republic reserved an official welcome to Her Excellency the President of the Indian Republic for the second day of her visit to Algeria. No less than 500 economic operators took part in the Algerian Indian Affairs Forum, an opportunity to further develop cooperation between the two countries. The 12th edition of the African Mediterranean Energy and Hydrogen Exhibition has kicked off. Accords were signed for the production and exportation of the Algerian hydrogen. Welcome back. On the second day of her state visit, first of its kind for an Indian president in the history of the Algerian-Indian relations, Her Excellency the President of the Republic of India, Droupadi Murmu, continued her four-day visit to Algeria. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, gave an official welcome this Monday at the headquarters of the Presidency of the Republic, an official welcome to his Indian counterpart. After saluting the national flag, Droupadi Murmu inspected the detachment of the Republican Guard that gave her the honors. Before the handshake with the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the two presidents took a souvenir photo before the national and international media. Then, the two presidents saluted the members of the delegations of the two countries. At the headquarters of the Presidency of the Republic, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, held one-on-one talks with the President of the Republic of India, Droupadi Murmu. The talks were extended to include the members of the delegations of the two countries, with the presence of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, the Chief of Staff of the Presidency of the Republic, the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, as well as the Counselor of the President of the Republic in charge of the Defense and Security Affairs. At the end of their one-on-one and extended talks, the President of the Republic and his Indian counterpart held a joint press briefing. The President of the Republic welcomed Algeria's guest for the first visit of its kind for a President of the Republic of India to Algeria.
يسعدني أن أرحب من جديد بفخامة الرئيسة دروبادي مورمو رئيسة دولة الهند الصديقة. أرحب بها في زيارتها إلى الجزائر، ولأول مرة تستقبل الجزائر رئيسا للهند. سبق وأن استقبلنا الوزراء الأولين. اغتنمنا الفرصة هذه تواجد فخامة الرئيسة دروبادي مورمو. أجرينا مباحثات مكثفة تناولنا خلالها التعاون الثنائي وآفاق تطويره من جهة، وتطرقنا من جهة أخرى إلى قضايا إقليمية ودولية راهنة.
During this press briefing, the President of the Republic highlighted the importance of this visit for the reinforcement of the bilateral relations between Algeria and India and mentioned the development and bilateral cooperation perspectives.
فيما يخص التعاون الثنائي اتفقنا على ترقية على المستوى الاقتصادي وتشجيع الاستثمار والتبادل التجاري، وفي هذا السياق سيتم في أقرب وقت البدء في التحضير إلى عقد الدورة المقبلة لكل من اللجنة المشتركة للتعاون وآلية تشاور سياسي بما يخدم جهود دعم العلاقات وتعميق الشراكة الثنائية، طبعا لا سيما من خلال لقاء رجال الأعمال من البلدين وتعزيز أطر التعاون بإطراء الإطار القانوني والتنسيق والتشاور.
The President of the Republic affirmed that the Middle East file, particularly the Zionist aggression on Gaza and Lebanon, was the principal issue discussed during the talks he held with Her Excellency, the President of India.
كان لي مع فخامة الرئيسة حديث مطول ومعمق أملته الظروف الخاصة والاستثنائية الراهنة على المستويين الإقليمي والدولي. تطرقنا إلى ملفات عديدة منها ملف الشرق الأوسط بكل أبعاده وتداعياته، لا سيما الاعتداء على قطاع غزة وعلى جنوب لبنان ومن جر عن ذلك من تبعات إنسانية كارثية وانعكاسات خطيرة على الأمن والسلم في منطقة الشرق الأوسط وربما في العالم. وبهذا الخصوص اتفقنا على تكثيف التنسيق والتشاور وجددنا التأكيد على حق الشعب الفلسطيني في إقامة دولته المستقلة وعاصمتها القدس الشرقية في حدود جوان 67.
The President of the Republic also affirmed that Algeria and India attach importance to the respect of the resolutions of the Security Council regarding Western Sahara and support the efforts for peace in the Sahel region.
فيما يخص منطقتنا اتفقنا على أن نتابع معا مخرجات مجلس الأمن فيما يخص قضية الصحراء الغربية، وفيما يخص المستجدات في الساحل على ضوء الأوضاع المقلقة السائدة فيها، وأبدينا حرصنا على مواصلة دعم جهود السلم والأمن والتنمية في المنطقة لمساعدة الدول المعنية على تجاوز التحديات السياسية والأمنية والبيئية التي تواجهها.
The President of the Republic affirmed that the relations between Algeria and India went through a period of stagnation, but today there is a strong will to reinforce them in honor of the historical relations between the two countries.
لا يخفى على أحد أن ربما مررنا بمرحلة فتور، ولكن سنسترجع تشاور مثل ما كان بيننا كدولتين فاعلتين في حركة عدم الانحياز.
For her part, Her Excellency the President of the Republic of India, Draupadi Murmu, hailed the good governance of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, and his vision for a prosperous country. She also congratulated the President of the Republic for his re-election for a second presidential term.
It is a great honor for me to be making this first visit to Algeria, especially as it coincides with the start of the second term of office of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune. I am accompanied by my secretary, members of parliament, and a delegation of businesswomen. and today marks a historic moment in relations between India and Algeria. I would like to congratulate the President Tebboune on his re-election. His vision for the new Algeria earns respect.
Her Excellency the President of the Republic of India affirmed her devotion towards strengthening the bilateral relations between Algeria and India, also with the African continent, by highlighting the role of the President of the Republic in the orientation of this cooperation for a promising future.
Today I had a very constructive exchange with the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, and I reaffirmed to him our commitment to raise our bilateral relations to a higher level. We are placing particular emphasis on investments, and I also took this opportunity to reiterate India's commitment to Africa. The Businessmen's Forum to be held today will examine our joint projects and identify several initiatives aimed at giving new impetus to our economic and commercial cooperation. I thank the President Tebboune for his leadership and constant support for bilateral and multilateral cooperation.
At the headquarters of the Presidency of the Republic, the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Canal had talks with his Indian counterpart. They discussed the bilateral cooperation in the sector of higher education and scientific research. And the Counselor of the President of the Republic in charge of Defense and Security Affairs, Boumediene Benato, held talks with his Indian counterpart. Executives of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad also held talks with their Indian counterpart. They discussed the bilateral cooperation and the common interest questions. Earlier today, Her Excellency the President of the Republic of India, Draupadi Murmu, led a wreath of flowers at the Sanctuary of the Martyr and stood in front of the memorial stone in the memory of the martyrs of the glorious National Liberation War. After contemplating the Bay of Algiers, Algeria's guest visited with the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Kamal Badari, the National Museum of the Mujahid, where she was given explanations on the history of resistance and the Algerian Revolution. Then she signed the Golden Book of the museum. The President of the Council of the Nation, Salah Goudil, paid a courtesy visit to the President of the Republic of India, Draupadi Murmu. And the daughter of Her Excellency the President of India, who accompanied her, visited the most important historical places in the capital, such as the Palace of the Rias, which is considered by the UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. She also visited the Museum of the Bardo and particularly the African Culture Wing, where she was given explanations on the museum's collections. At the end of her visit, she went to the citadel of Algiers, known as Dar Sultan, which is also considered by the UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. At the Sheraton Hotel in Algiers, the Algerian-Indian Businessmen Forum was launched, which is a good opportunity to strengthen the partnership between the two countries. 500 investors and economic operators in various sectors are taking part in this forum. More details with Daniel Bahri.
Her Excellency the President of the Republic of India, Draupadi Murmu, expressed her country's intention to strengthen cooperation and partnership with Algeria. Algerian-Indian relations are strong and rooted in history. The rapid growth of the Algerian economy constitutes an opportunity to strengthen cooperation between the two countries. We have a great interest in intensifying relations and implementing new projects in Algeria. In the first economic forum between Algeria and India, Tayyip Zitouni stressed the desire of the Algerian political leadership to promote bilateral trade relations. In this context, I emphasize the Algerian leadership's aspiration for bilateral meetings and interactions between operators and businessmen of the two countries. The fruitful results are positively reflected in bilateral cooperation. This latter adds more dynamism to economic cooperation and bilateral trade relations. For its part, trade exchanges have witnessed a significant increase, considering India as Algeria's ninth partner. The president of the Algerian Economic Renewal Forum, Canal, expressed his optimism about the future of relations between the two countries. In Algeria, we are witnessing a significant improvement in the business climate, which continues to improve day after day, thanks to the commitment of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, and thanks to the structural reforms led by our government. The government's action plan devotes its guiding principles to monitor all the constraints that could hinder the development of companies and productive investments in terms of procedures, deadlines, and costs. Therefore, the efforts made by Algeria to diversify the economy and adapt economic governance gave us many advantages that complement our geographical privileges by being at the same time a gateway to Europe and Africa. India, represented by Hari Mohan Gupta, who speaks on behalf of the Indian businessman present at the forum. He expressed his desire to continue working in our country. We had cooperation with Algeria in space science. We concluded several agreements in this field, but the partnership expanded to include many other fields in science, technology, and construction. Bilateral meetings are what determine the nature and number of agreements that will conclude in the future between the two countries.
The 12th edition of the African Mediterranean Energy and Hydrogen Exhibition and Conference kicked off today in Oran. Energy transition was high on the agenda of the first day proceedings, in addition to the signing of several memoranda of understanding. More details with our special envoy to the western capital of the country, Salim Mirouh.
Moving to clean and renewable energies held pride of place in the opening session of the NAPEC conference held in Iran, while respecting the environment within the climate change conventions and the climate memorandum signed with the United States.
I'm really excited that the United States and Algeria signed a methane abatement accord today. We're going to be working together to help create sustainable, durable, low-cost energy for both of our countries that saves the environment. Our environmental stewardship is going to go to a new level with this agreement.
Algeria's key role as the main provider of gas, notably to several European countries, will be consolidated by a mega project, namely the South 2 corridor, relating to green hydrogen. A big project likely to change the energy landscape in the Mediterranean region.
I've seen here the post about the hydrogen project in Algeria, and I think it's really critical. Hydrogen is going to be the next way to produce.
Worth mentioning that a cooperation memoranda were signed between Algeria's giant groups, namely Sonalgas and Sonatrach, with other foreign partners so as to promote this promising sector.
A meeting on university and professional education was held in the Sahrawi refugee camps to exchange international expertise for the benefit of the Sahrawi education system and strengthen the cooperation in the same sector. Ammar Touagin and Najah Tayyar.
In an international meeting focused on university and vocational education in the Sahrawi refugee camps took place with wide participation as part of the efforts to strengthen Sahrawi institutions and promote education and professional training. We are here to participate and contribute to the success of this symposium by sharing Algerian expertise, particularly in the field of vocational training, with our Sahrawi brothers. By our presence here, we want to send a strong message to the international organizations and countries around the world, and we call on them to give more support to the Sahrawi cause. We've been talking about education and technical training and their contribution to the consecration of equality between individuals. We take this opportunity to express our solidarity with the Sahrawis in the camps. We are here as part of the efforts of the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research to support our Sahrawi brothers. This is reflected in the large number of Sahrawi students studying in Algerian universities. It is essential to unite our efforts on the occasion of such meetings within the framework of South-South cooperation for the good of all. During our presence here, we have been able to witness firsthand the courage and resilience shown by the Sahrawi people. As part of their continued fight to self-determination and dignity, the forum highlighted the Sahrawi experience. The Sahrawi experience in several fields was highlighted and enriched thanks to the participation of various delegations from Algeria, Mauritania, and various European countries and Latin America, making this meeting a space for dialogue, research, study and reflection to strengthen the foundations on which the Sahrawi experience rests. This event is yet another platform to express international solidarity with the Sahrawi cause, while also providing an opportunity to exchange experiences and strengthen cooperative ties.
Morocco is trying in vain to distort reality and keep quiet about its violations committed in Western Sahara. The issue of the disappearances of Sahrawis was addressed at the UN. The relevant commission is demanding an account of the thousands of Sahrawis who have disappeared. More details with Daniel Bahri.
Practices that go beyond human rights violations. Thousands of Sahrawis have been victims of forced disappearances caused by the Moroccan occupier since he set foot on the Western Sahara soil in 1975 and even before that date. Late at night, my son was kidnapped with his friends. They are innocent and since then no news, and we can't find his trace. I can't sleep from this situation. A heavy file that dragged the Moroccan occupier for the first time before the United Nations Commission on Forced Disappearances during its 27th session. This UN Commission denounced the fact that the Moroccan officials involved in these forced disappearances escaped punishment and requested the establishment of an independent body to monitor the violations committed by the Makhzen in Western Sahara. The UN working group called on the international community to take the necessary measures to force the Moroccan occupier to exhume the body of the disappeared and shed full light on their fate.
And with this we come to the end of our edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Have a good night.